Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the last day of my walking. And I'll be very glad when it's all finally wrapped up in about 7,000 steps time.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
It's Saturday on the Easter bank holiday, which is kind of the only normal day out of 4, because Friday is obviously bank holiday, so it's basically a Sunday. Sunday is a Sunday, and Monday is also effectively a Sunday as well. So it goes Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday. So Saturday's great, everything's open. Not that we're making much use of it because we're going around babysitting tonight, but I'm making use of this gap in the weather to do my last bit of my walk for the Walk All Over Cancer for Cancer Research UK. And I just need to do my 10,000 steps today, and then I will have done at least 10,000 steps every day in March. I'll give you the grand total at the end when I know what it is. But it's been very miserable this morning, and now it's just a tiny bit of brightness, so I'm taking this opportunity to do a little lap across the bridges around Kew and Chizik. So it's been an interesting month to do a lot of walking in. Obviously you remember all the snow at the start, and then again in the middle. And I kept saying, oh yeah, and it could be nice by the end. Well, it hasn't quite materialised into like full-on spring. There's been a couple of days where it's been very pleasant, but on the whole it's been a little underwhelming. But you know, it's still been an interesting exercise to try and get out and do these walks every day. I feel better for it, I have to say. Like, very often in the winter, when I'm quite sedentary and you don't get out much, or you certainly don't force yourself, you seize up a bit and your legs don't feel great. But I actually feel quite fit at the moment, which is quite good. I have to see whether this continues. It won't obviously continue at this sort of pace, but it definitely helps. Just as I've said before, if you're in doubt, go out. And probably most importantly, it's been a good fundraising exercise. Cancer Research UK, as I'm sure you're aware, is the foremost leading cancer charity in the United Kingdom, and since their formation there's been quite significant steps taken towards finding a cure for all cancers, and as it stands now 50% of cancer sufferers survive. That's the highest survival rates have ever been. But that also means that 50% of people don't, and that's why Cancer Research UK needs to continue to fundraise, and that's why I'm doing this walk, because cancer is something that will affect pretty much everybody alive today, if not directly, then indirectly through friends and family. So this is why I feel like this is a very important thing to do. It might not be the only thing I do for them this year, but it's certainly a good place to begin. The link, as always, is below. If you can give anything at all, it's much appreciated. The tide is so high that it's actually coming up through the manhole covers and flooding this bit beyond the wall at the moment. Ducks are just sitting on a piece of driftwood, but they're almost level with the wall now. And that gangplank, you can't actually get to the other end of it because it's underwater. As you can see, this part of the towpath is not really usable. Very stunning though it is. It's basically river towpath, all the same thing at this point. So we have to go around the other way. Just to show you how bad it is. This is one of the alleyways that would normally lead to the towpath. You can't even get down to the towpath. It's a couple of metres up from there. Pretty silly. And that's why everyone has these waterproof gates and what have you around here, because you kind of have to. So when you get a really, really high tide like that, this time of year it's called a spring tide. And a spring tide is when the sun and the moon are basically working together to make matters as dramatic as possible. As you might know, most of the tides, most of the time, are affected primarily by the moon, because it's a much nearer object and the gravitational effect is much greater. And basically the gravity of the moon pulls the water towards it, so you end up with higher water directly underneath where the moon is. But in the springtime in the northern hemisphere, the planet is a lot closer to the sun than it is the other times of year. So the sun has a greater influence than normal. And when you have a new moon, you're keeping up, that's when the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of the planet. And that accentuates the pull in two directions. So if you can imagine the water pulling out one side of the planet and the other, and then it's much lower than the bit in the middle. And this causes a more exaggerated tidal effect, which is what you get right now, because yesterday was the full moon. And it is obviously spring. Anyway, the high tide has just passed, so it's beginning to go out again. But you can see these piers here finally are actually at the right level for a boat, where most of the time they look ridiculous. It does somewhat beg the question, when they built these piers, like, exactly what for? The tide's going out, so I was coming to see whether the footpath here is available, but the far bollard tells me that it is not. Not even close, actually. The geese are using it, so that's nice. It's just gone down a little bit, but not a lot. Even the tidal gate has been breached. So in reality, this is now river water that's flooding into the marina, which doesn't happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. And yeah, I don't remember the last time I've seen this. So this is a lock, but obviously it's not when the water is going over both ends. And this is the grounds of the Mortlake Alpha Rowing Club, which is where you would have seen all the interviews and the stage at the end of last week's boat race if you watched it. It's now back to its calm, normal self, aside from the floodwaters. The whole of the Mortlake to Barnesbridge footpath is flooded all the way down, which I've never seen it like that, and I've never seen it this high here. And I mean, you know, high tide was now 40 minutes ago, so this has been going out for a little bit. This is astoundingly high. I know, spring tide, so, you know, this is the highest point of the year, but I must have not just seen a proper spring tide in full effect up to this point. Doesn't the river look huge when it's like this? Just massive. The duck seems happy though, so, you know, at least somebody's enjoying it. It is dramatic. I mean, compare it to a low tide, and there's just up near Kew Railway Bridge, at a low tide you kind of feel like you could walk across the island, it's that shallow. And right now, I mean, it's just a completely different beast. Spectacular though. Happy Easter. Sunday, which is why I've come into Chizik House grounds. This massive, not particularly friendly swan. It's been intimidating the local dogs. It's a bit of a beast. And then this river isn't really a river, it's a lake. And there's a coot nest in the middle. Good morning, I'm off to the seaside. I'm going to go the very long way because the trains are rubbish, so I'll be going all the way to Victoria and then going back to Clapham and then changing and then going down to Winchester and then getting in a car. But it's not as terrible a day as they promised, so that's quite nice. Here I am in wet and muddy Winchester, hoping that Tom is outside to pick me up. Otherwise this would be a very long journey for no apparent reason. Boats by the seaside, by the yacht, the harbour side technically. You can buy one. It's a 30-metre super yacht and probably costs like 20-30 quid. It's quite nice. I mean, I don't think I can afford a Princess V40 to be honest.
Where we put all our clues and we're hiding it from
Exactly,
ourselves.
and when you first went in, you'd see the shapes, but you didn't have the items.
I saw the shapes.
Yeah, there's only anything of it.
2 minutes.
Because it's non-linear, you find things
57
you need
remaining.
them. You know, and by the time you...
Good. That's just a really good description.
What swan anus? It
That
smells.
smell.
It's not like, well, no.
That's a cool house, isn't it? Why don't you buy that one, Toby? It's not quite a turret, but it's still quite good.
It is. I don't know if it's for sale. I do like the completely useless
got a sail.
mast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have a sail. You put that on and the house just sort of drifts out into sea.
It is for sale.
Yes. Oh, it is a for sale, yes. Good morning. It is Wednesday. And here I am on the towpath again. Monday was good fun in Southampton. I don't think I filmed a lot because I was too busy, frankly, nerding out and just doing stupid. So, but it was a good laugh. Got back quite late, and then yesterday I had to get up, you know, sort of reasonably early, go to USP, spend all day making a video, and then come home and make 9 more videos. And I got to bed about 1, and now I'm up again, going in to WebVid to make some videos. So I'm a little tired and a little jaded, but I'm sure given enough sunshine and time I'll recover. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Look at that. The sun on the Thames. Looks beautiful. Tide isn't so high that I can't use the path. Everything's, you know, coming up smelling of roses, so what more could you want, really? I mean, maybe a day in bed. But other than that, wow. Now this is a spring morning. Apparently it's going to be like this all day, which is good because I'm going into WebVid again, but then we're heading into Leicester Square to do some filming. Although it's probably a bit bright, but better that than raining. And although it started off nice yesterday, it disappeared about 11 o'clock. The grey clouds came in and it started raining, which is not unusual in April. It's just a bit annoying, so you have to carry an umbrella around. But today looks like it's going to be great. In other news, it's my birthday next week, which has been given very little thought by me. With every year that passes, it's given increasingly little thought. Increasingly little? It's given less and less thought. And people say, what do you want for your birthday? And I think, I must want something. And then I can't think of anything, so some time is going to have to be given to answer that question today, with an answer that isn't just really, really boring. Welcome to Leicester Square. This is the Endicott Hotel. This is the 9th floor bar. Quite impressive, isn't it, from up here? Even look at the global's quite impressive, and that's quite something. I'm just trying to find a spot to film in currently. It's weird seeing this view when I'm used to seeing it from the top of that building. It actually looks really good today. And the glass actually looks unreal. Need to go and check that it is real. North London's landmarks like the Google offices and Centrepoint and other tall and particularly unattractive buildings. Hello from the future. Hello from the noisy future. I'm back because Friday again got away from me and I didn't do anything to sign off or a word of the week or anything. So let's start with the word of the week. This week's word of the week appropriately is flood. Following on from all the towpath shenanigans last week. So flood. First of all, in German, flood is die Flut. Die Flut. I think you can also say high water, which is like das Hochwasser, something similar, but we're going to stick with die Flut. That is flood in German. In Italian, it's le alluvioni. Le alluvioni. There's lots of words in Italian again, including one to do with being in a wave. But we're going to stick with this one, which is le alluvioni, and that is flood in Italian, and that was this week's word of the week. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you will subscribe and click like and make a comment and do all the things that involve some form of interaction so that I know you're there. And in the meantime, I am here in the future going to go get a haircut. So thank you again, and I'll see you next week with less hair.
Toby